I'm Katie Sewell, and this is A Bittersweet Moment with Tiffany Parks.
Hello and welcome to The Bittersweet Life. I'm Tiffany Parks, and this is your midweek Bittersweet Moment. I'm definitely experiencing the bitter part of my bittersweet life over here in Rome right now, as opposed to the sweet. As I tape this, I am sitting in my car. It is 1:45, which even for a Saturday night for me is late to be out. I am not really a night owl. And in fact, I'll probably be yawning as I tape this or getting distracted by sleepiness. But I'm in my car because Claudio and I went out for dinner tonight on the Tevere, which is the riverbank of Rome, which down below, right by the water's edge, they set up bars and shops and little games and all sorts of fun things and restaurants down by the Tiber in the summer. It's actually really quite lovely. If you're in Rome in the summer, I really suggest that you check it out. You just walk up to the Tiber River on the Trastevere side. I think it's between Ponte Sisto and Ponte Sublicio. And you just walk down the stairs, and it's quite a fun atmosphere. So that part of the night was great. But now it's not so great because we are stuck in our parking spot and we can't get out because a very, very thoughtful and selfless driver decided to park in a place that completely blocked us from getting out. It actually blocked he's blocking 3 other parking spots. It's kind of hard to describe. But in Trastevere, there's lots of winding little streets, alleyways. It's a very labyrinthy area. And there's a little, kind of like a piazzetta, but not even really. I wouldn't even call it a piazzetta. It's like just a little tiny space right off of the Tevere Drive, the big busy street where people drive up and down along the river. And there's a street that's leading from there into Trastevere. And right adjacent to it is this little tiny area right outside a restaurant. And there are 3 parking spaces painted in there in blue, which means you have to pay for them. But this little area is blocked off by a little fence type of a thing so that you can't drive out of it except on one particular spot. And that one particular spot is where this jerk decided to park. And the funny thing is, Claudio is so, I guess he's just been in the city so long, and he's driven and parked in this city so long. He could just predict what's going to happen. Because I saw this parking spot, and it was very difficult to find parking because it's a Saturday night, and it's a Saturday night in summer. And I was so excited when I saw this spot. And he said, I don't know if we park there, though. If somebody parks here, and he pointed to the spot where the car now is, if somebody parks here, we're not going to be able to get out. And I'm thinking, oh, come on. It's going to be fine. No one's going to park there. And sure enough, as soon as we got back to the car after having our dinner and our walk, there was a car parked there. And we could probably get out if we didn't mind damaging our car, because there is a little bit of the fence eventually ends, but the curb that the fence is on, it's not a fence. It's like a metal railing. The curve that it is on continues, and it's pretty high, and we have a very low car. If we drove up on there, I think we would damage our car, at least the under part. And, I don't want to damage my car. So we have called the Vigili, which are sort of like the traffic police, I guess you could call them. And we called the non-emergency number. That was, let me look at the clock. That was an hour and 20 minutes ago. So yes, that is why I decided to record this. Not only just to tell you this kind of story that hopefully will be funny afterwards, but also to honestly to kill a little bit of time, because I am bored and I didn't bring a book. I always bring a book wherever I go if I'm going to pick up Aurelia from school, just in case I'm like 5 minutes early or he's 5 minutes late or whatever it is. If I'm going to the bank, if I'm going to even the pharmacy, I bring a book because if I'm in line, I want to read. But I don't bring a book when I go out for dinner on a Saturday night with my husband. So I'm sitting here in my car with no book to read. And so that's why I'm taping this. And here's another funny thing. When I say Claudio he's able to predict situations, or he just knows how things work here. And I've lived in Rome for 19 years, but I still don't know how everything works. I'm still learning. And I kept saying to him, call a tow truck. Call a tow truck. And he's like, we can't call a tow truck. We have to call the police and they'll call the tow truck when they get here. And I'm like, come on, just call the tow truck. He gets out of the car because there's another couple here who they're stuck too because there's 3 little parking spots in this little mini space. So they're waiting as well. And so Claudio got out of the car, is chatting with them. And I was like, let me Google this. So I Google in Italian, can I call a tow truck if someone blocks my car? No, you cannot. It is not allowed. The only people who can legally call a tow truck are fire department, police, etc. Unless it's your own car, but then you have to pay, if for some reason you need your car towed. So, gosh, I hate it when he's right. But unfortunately, it happens more than I would like to admit. But anyway, that's Rome and that's Italy in general. Like, people park so badly in this city. Every time I park like in a slightly bad way, I'm so anxious about it. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing while I've parked my car, I can never fully enjoy it because I'm thinking about my car. And I'm thinking like, am I going to get a ticket? Or is someone going to scrape my car? I remember I parked in a legal place a while back and I was so close to the car that I parked next to. I'm surprised I didn't scrape their car. That's how close it was. And I had to get out on the other side. And I couldn't move it because if I had tried to move it to park better, I would have probably banged their car. So I just was like, I got to go and hope that they move by the time I get back. But I was thinking about it the entire time. And of course, when I got back, they were gone, thankfully. So everything worked out. But sometimes I do park my car illegally, but when I park illegally, it's not in a way that blocks someone else. It's maybe like I'm parking in a spot that's not technically a parking spot, but, it's not like I'm by a fire hydrant or on the sidewalk or something like that. I would never park on the zebra crossing, which is totally not allowed, but people do it. If you've ever lived in Rome, in Italy in general, even if you haven't driven here, if you're a pedestrian in Italy, you have encountered people who park badly. And they block, passageways. I remember when Aurelia was a baby, I could never take him out in the baby carriage because people would park right in front of the little ramp that leads down from from the sidewalk. They're really just the worst parkers in the world. And, it's hard to park here, but if you can't do it, then don't take your car. Take a cab or park in a paid parking lot. I have such anxiety for parking that if I'm going to be in the center, in a place where I know it's really hard to park, I just pay the money and I park in the parking lot. So I don't have to worry about it. These Romans, they don't think like that. Anyway, I'm still sitting here. How long has this been? It's been 10 minutes that I've been taping and I'm still here. And there's still no police person come to help us. Will they ever come? I don't know. Will we have to resort to rounding up 8 big young guys and lifting the car and moving it aside so we can get out? I don't know. Will we have to find a hotel in Trastevere? I don't know. I don't know how this night is going to end, but I hope that it ends soon. And I will fill you in later. Well, taping a little PS because the story has finally concluded. It is now 1:30 in the morning. It is so far past my bedtime that it is, I think, closer to my wake-up time than it is to my bedtime right now. I am currently watching the tow truck man tow this car away. So when last I left you, there was no one in sight. We had called the police, but they were not arriving. Well, Claudio basically waved down a police car, and they were not even the police car that was coming to help us. They were off duty and going home. He basically refused to let them go until they called someone else. And another set of police officers showed up finally, but that was about an hour ago. And so the whole process has been about 3 hours because we got to our car at 10:15. But I cannot tell you how satisfied I am to see this car being towed away. And I just wish I could see the face of the a-hole when he notices his car is gone tomorrow. Unfortunately, I will not have that satisfaction, but I will be imagining it. Thanks so much for listening. Join us again. Bye.